Hi everyone and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions. My name is Tommy. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to episode 104. If you are a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, a big welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today is a really lovely, sunny, and warm and windy Wednesday in September here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. How are you? There will be show notes for everything I talk about in the description box below. So in today's episode of Squirrel Pie Productions, I will be talking about knitting mostly. And to start it off, I will talk about what I am wearing. It is actually very warm in my office right now, but this is what I wore to work today. I'm recording after work today, as opposed to when I normally record, which would be in a morning on my day off. So I just got off of work and this is what I wore to work, and so I wanted to tell you about it, and then after I tell you about it, I'm gonna take it off, because it's hot. So I am wearing my Salal by Andy Satterland. This is a really great cropped cardigan, and it's knit out of DK weight yarn. I used Green Mountain Spinnery New Mexico Organic Merino, I think it's called. It's 100% non-superwash merino, and it's really, really beautiful. I think this is my favorite. It's one of my favorite sweaters I've ever made. It's one of the most actually functional sweaters that I've ever made. I have a few sweaters that I actually wear regularly, and a lot of sweaters that I've knit that I don't hardly ever wear at all because they don't really fit with my style or my wardrobe or whatever. This is one of the ones that I don't wear it like daily like some of my other ones, but it's the best crop sweater that I've knit. That's what I'll say, is that whenever I wear like a dress or something that I want a cardigan over, this is the sweater that I go for. It's an amazing pattern. I really love it. And yeah, it's just got some lace through the yoke, and it's got really great set-in sleeves, which I just love. Pretty much all of Andy Satterland's patterns that I've knit have that kind of set-in sleeve, and I very much like it. And it's cropped and it's wonderful. I've got these really fantastic mauve, like frosted mauve plastic buttons on it. And I love this sweater. It's really great. And now I'm taking it off. Okay, so moving on to, I have one little tidbit of announcements. I don't have many announcements these days, but I wanted to let you know that Rhinebeck West, which is going to be a virtual fiber festival happening this year, is coming up in October. So Rhinebeck West is an event, a fiber event put on by the Knitting Tree Los Angeles. It's something that I took part in last year as a vendor, well, not as a vendor, but as a dyer. And I made an exclusive colorway to Rhinebeck West 2019. Unfortunately, I won't be participating again this year, but it is happening, and it's happening virtually, so anyone can go. You don't have to be in the LA area. So I highly recommend that. There are some really, really great vendors that are taking part this year. I think it's going to be amazing. So check it out if you're interested. There's an Instagram account that is Rhinebeck West, and I will link all the information down below. Did I say it's happening October 10th and 11th? I don't think I did. It's happening October 10th and 11th. Okay, moving on from announcements, because I don't have any other announcements, to works in progress. I have quite a few works in progress this time. It's been a month since my last knitting podcast, and I know I've been stretching these episodes out like that, like monthly lately, but you know, with knitting mojo's down, you do what you gotta do. But I'd say for the first couple weeks of the span of time since my last episode, I like hardly worked on anything, and then for the last week or two I kind of got inspired again and started working on a lot. So I have some stuff to share, and the first project is in a brand new project bag that I'm going to talk about first because it is the elephant in the room and it's amazing. So I want to show you and tell you about it. So my first project is my granny stripe crochet blanket, and it is living in my brand new project bag. And if you can see, this project bag has roller skates on it. So I have been going heavy into my new hobby, which is roller skating. I'm pretty into roller skating right now. I might roller skate more than I knit these days. And one of my friends, Julia, who lives in Australia, who watches the podcast and stuff, said that she saw this roller skate fabric and thought of me. And so she just made me this wonderful giant project bag and sent it to me in the mail. I actually got a package in the mail yesterday that had this project bag in it and some other goodies, including this mini skein, which I've put in with my granny stripe crochet blanket because that's where it's going. It's by Jelly Bean Fibers. And so it had that in it, and it had a handmade card with a little koala bear on it, and then a keychain with a kitty cat unicorn on it. And it's like this cool, like, kind of thick plastic. A handmade soap, some snacks that I'm not going to show you because they're half gone, and some stuff for Lucy, who's my daughter. Julia is amazing. She's such a great person. She's an amazing sewist and an amazing maker. She makes like a ton of sweaters, knittings. She knits like a ton of sweaters. And so thank you so much, Julia. This was such an amazing, amazing surprise to get in the mail. And I love my new bag. It's got handles and a drawstring. Julia, I don't think you sell your stuff online. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if I find out that I'll do some research, and if I find out that I'm wrong, I will link to your stuff in the show notes, but I don't think she does. But you should follow her on Instagram, and you can see all the beautiful things that she makes, because she makes a lot of really beautiful things. Also, she sewed a zipper pouch, like a little project bag for Lucy, and I actually don't have that to share with you because Lucy has it in her possession, and she's at her grandparents' house right now. So unfortunately, I don't have that to show, but it was really cool. And it had this really neat, like, vintagey vibe, like, family print on it, like a mom and a dad and, like, a little kid and stuff. So thank you, Julia. So living in my awesome project bag is another awesome project bag by Katydid Bags, and I will link to her stuff in the show notes as well. And this is a really great space bag that also has handles and a drawstring. So this is keeping all of my mini skeins and scraps of fingering weight yarn that I'm putting into this blanket. I've been working on this blanket kind of a lot. I think I've talked about this before. When my knitting mojo is kind of down or gone, this is a really, really great project because it's like the only thing that can keep, I don't know, it's more fun when I don't feel like knitting or something. I don't know, but I've been working on this a lot is the point. This is a crochet blanket. It's a granny stripe, scrappy fingering weight crochet blanket. I started this thing off using the Coco Bella granny stripe tutorial, which I will link in the show notes because it's amazing. And yeah, that's how I started it. I started it with like 300 and something chains. It's really giant. It's too big. I made it way too big. But I think I'm getting close to being done with it because instead of making it like regular blanket rectangle, I'm making it a square because it is so big. And I'm using a size 3.5 millimeter tulip hook. These are my favorite hooks because the handles are really nice and they're pink. And the yarn that I'm using right now is some leftover sock yarn. I think this is opal. Opal, I say opal, I don't know. It's like the love letter colorway or something like that. I got this sock yarn at a Stitches West. It was at the first one I ever went to. So I'm gonna guess that that was 2017? Maybe it was 2016, I don't know, who knows, who cares. I got this a long time ago. It's some leftovers. I have socks made with it. And that's what I'm putting in right now. I think I've shown you this recently because I have been working on it quite a lot. So this is kind of my current status. So it's over here. You can see the current yarn that I'm putting in. So that top row of like pink and like white and brown and beige and orange and stuff, that's that sock yarn. And then just underneath it are some scraps that I actually have right here. I don't know what this is. Oh, I do. It's Dharma Dyeworks. It's a company that I'm pretty positive is no longer in business. I won that skein of sock yarn from the Dyer's Notebook podcast with Lara. And yeah, that was a long time ago. And anyway, side tangent. So that's what this is. And down here we've got, this one is a hand spun. And here's some self-striping yarn. This is, the green is another hand spun. And this is, I don't know, you know, from there, who knows? It's all scraps and leftovers and stuff. I would say that from about here up is what I've done like in the last month or two, a couple months, something like that. So I love it. Here it is. So there's the bottom, and that's kind of where I am. And it's very wide. It's about the width of a queen size bed with a little bit of overhang, because I think, sorry, I'm tangled up in yarn. I think like a lot of people, when I started this blanket, I just kind of chained as many stitches as kind of like nicely draped over my bed, which was a queen size bed, and went from there. And that's why it's so big. But I've decided that I don't want it as like a bed throw. I want it as like a couchy throw. So it's going to be a big square. I very much enjoy this blanket, even though it's taking a really long time. I think I might be done somewhere in the realistic future though, at this point. Okay. Oh, and the lining of this roller skate bag is this like super beautiful like aqua with pink polka dots, and there's pockets, and one of these cool keychain things. Oh. Stuff. And it fits this thing perfectly, which is really great because this blanket was living in a bag that was much too small for it before. So I'm very, very excited. Can you hear me jangling? I'm wearing my my dinosaur necklace today. It has dinosaur, like big giant clunky plastic toy dinosaurs on it all over. This is what I wore to work today. I have quite a bit of dinosaur related jewelry. And this one delightfully like jingles and jangles. So I'm sorry if that's bothering you. It's probably bothering you. It's fine. I'm gonna try to not move so much. And I won't go all like on you. Okay. My next work in progress is the Artist Garden Socks by Tiff Nealon. They are living in my very cool Gasly's project bag, made by me. It's my favorite project bag that I've ever made. I've only made a few, but this is definitely like the nicest one. And I finished the first one. So here it is. So the Artist Garden Socks is a sock pattern that is designed to be able to hold more than one yarn together, and it's designed for like a couple different like gauges, and you can do a regular sock or a toeless sock, which is what I did. And so this is the cuff here, and it's marled, so I used a bunch of fingering weight scraps and mini skeins and held them together and just switched as I felt like it. Actually, I don't think so. I think she actually has instructions on like when to switch, and like obviously you don't have to follow those suggestions, but I did, so I'm pretty sure I did it according to pattern. And so it's top down, it's got a heel flap and gusset, and then the top of the foot has a texture pattern on it, and the bottom foot is stockinette, and then this is where your toes go, and your toes poke out the top. I really like these. I'm very excited about them. So it's pretty much a DK weight gauge. Mine are definitely, I think, quite a bit tighter than the pattern calls for. I went down quite a few sizes of needle because I'm dumb. And they're pretty dense, but they're not made to be this dense, but I think I like them like this. So I'm using a size boopity boop, US 2. These are my Haya Sharp interchangeables. And it's a US 2, and it's 2 fingering weight yarns held together. So that's pretty tight, at least for me, that's a pretty tight gauge. She recommends, I don't know, but something bigger than that. And I don't know if I've actually checked gauge yet, but they fit. They are very dense, but I think that's great. You know, typically my socks aren't this dense, but they feel good, is the point. So I haven't cast on the second one yet, but this is the first one. I've got all the yarns that I used in the first sock in here, and most of them are mini skeins that I got in swaps. A lot of them are mini, like balls, mini skein ball scrap things that I got in a mini swap that I did with Lisa, a Fibernymph Dyeworks, like years ago. So the first one that I can tell you offhand is Cloud Lover. That's what I started with. I think that might be like my main color number 1 or something. And then the ones, oh, and then this is Moonstone Dyeworks, which is my hand-dyed yarn company. And this is a self-striping colorway called Old Fashioned Love. And then Turtle Pearl Yarns, which is another self-striping. This one was from Lisa. And Blue Ridge Yarns Kaleidoscope, which I think was this one possibly. I could be wrong about that though. I also have this one, which I know is Lorna's Laces in the Zombie Barbecue colorway. I think I got this one in a swap with Jenny of Tiny Paper Foxes. This is like a Christmas colorway self-striping, and I can't remember what it is. And then I've got a couple more kind of, look at this, kind of randomy ones. There's a lot of green in here. The overall vibe of these socks is pretty green. And if it's still going on, which I think it might be, Akira of the Knitting Annihilator podcast is hosting a green along, or at least she was the last time I watched. And I've knit quite a few green things in the past couple months. So these are all for that. And if you haven't watched the Knitting Annihilator podcast, I think you might enjoy it because I love it. Akira is amazing, and she's hosting a green along, so if you're knitting anything green or crocheting anything green, I don't know the rules. Check it out. Okay, so that's those. What do I have next? I have so much stuff that I've been working on. What's in here? Okay. My next work in progress is the Liesl top by Julie Weisenberger, who's Coco Knits. This is a tank top. It's a bottom-up tank top. It's like tunic length, and it's designed in, I think, linen yarn. It's a sport weight linen, possibly blend. And what I am using is Shibui Knits Twig, which is linen, recycled silk, and wool. So that's what this is. And it's in the colorway Mineral. And this is a sport weight yarn. And I like it very much. I really like working with it. I don't think I gauge swatched for this. Did I? I can't remember. I have no idea. Anyway, here's where I'm at. So the idea behind this top is that you cast on from the bottom, and you cast on like a billion stitches, and then you decrease as you go up. So there's 2 points, they're at the side points, that you're decreasing on the bottom like half, or I don't know, something of the tunic, and you're decreasing in such a way to where it creates this little point. So at the bottom it has 2 little longer points on the sides. And then it's a tank top at the top. And it's all stockinette. So it's very boring, and I really like it. I really like working with linen and linen blend fibers. This one's really nice, the linen silk and like a little bit of wool. It's really nice. The wool content's slim. It's 12% wool. So it's 46 linen, 42 silk, 12 wool. And I like it. The yarn that I used for the bottom is this, which is a yak silk wool blend, I think, by Greenwood Fiberworks. I think it's the Paper Roses colorway. I don't remember. It's left over from my Mount Pleasant top Boom by Pip and Pin, which is another knitted top that I like, actually really like wearing, and I wear pretty regularly. So I used that for the bottom because I was questionable on my yardage, and I've knit linen tops before where I didn't quite like how the bottom laid. I felt like it was a little too flimsy and didn't have enough, I don't know, weight or structure or something. So I thought I'd use something a little maybe heavier or draper on the bottom just to see how it, I don't know, how it handled it. Maybe if it's still not as like weighty as I want on the bottom, I'll like add a couple beads here and there. I don't know. It's probably gonna be fine, right? Who knows? It's gonna be fine. I'm knitting this on a US size 8, which is what the pattern calls for. I just went by what the pattern called for because, like I said, I don't think I swatched. I don't think I've measured my gauge yet, and I've knit this far, so we'll see what happens. I've got a little moon progress keeper, which is very cute. And I mean, this is just like a bunch of stockinette in the round with a couple decreases here and there. I've been working on it forever, and this is, I think, the first skeins. Nope, this is the second skein. This is the second skein. I have 4 skeins total. They're really small skeins. They're these like little teeny kind of fancy yarn sizes of skein. It's 50 grams. So that is that. I've been kind of stalling on that the past week or two because of the next project that I'm going to show you has kind of taken over my life. But this is living in my Woodsy and Wild bag, which I very much like. So my next and my, sorry, I'm getting comfortable. My next and my last project is something I'm really enjoying. I love it a lot. It is the Mazzy. So I'm making the Mazzy cardigan by Elizabeth Smith, and it's a bottom-up raglan, open-fronted, kind of long cardigan. It calls for, I think, Brooklyn tweed, so it's a worsted weight that it calls for. I'm using a DK, and I wonder what I did with my other yarn. I found it. So I'm using Harrisville Designs Nightshades, which is some yarn that I picked up at Stitches West 2020 this year. I went to Stitches West in February. Isn't that weird? It was like a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before it was like, hey, let's all stay home, which feels weird. Anyway, I bought 4 skeins of this in the Insomnia colorway. So this is a DK weight yarn, and it is Cormo, American Cormo and wool. So I guess it's a blend of Cormo and other wools. I don't know. Woolenvine in the USA. It is a 100 gram skein, and I like it very, very much. It feels a lot like Brooklyn tweed yarn to me. But it's different. No, it's pretty different. Never mind. Forget it. I forget I said that. That's not true. I love them both. So I have 4 skeins of this, and I have pretty much straight on the number of the yardage required for this pattern, so you know what that means. Fingers crossed. It's another bottom-up cardigan. I wish I would stop liking things that were bottom-up because I really, really, really prefer top-down, but that's okay. I'm fine. This is what I have left of my first ball. It's really pretty. So I didn't mention it. Harrisville Nightshades is this line of yarn where it's pretty much mostly very dark colored wool, like natural dark colored wool, like, I don't know, black or dark gray or something, whatever. And it's dyed so that you can only kind of just see the dye through it. So there's like fibers running through here that aren't quite as dark as most of the fibers. So you can kind of just see hints of the actual color, but mostly it just kind of looks black. So the Insomnia colorway, the one that I got, is like the olive tinted one. And this is what I have so far. You want to just see it? Or do you want me to just keep talking about it? Oh, I'm all tangled. What the heck? Okay, so that is what I have so far. It's 2x2 ribbing at the bottom. Most of the sweater is just stockinette. except for the front panels. They're not button bands because there's no buttons. And it is a shawl collar, I think it's called, so that the bands, the front bands, come up and kind of go up around the back of the neck, which I love. That's like my favorite cardigan construction, is when there's like a little bit of a shawl collar in the back of the neck. And so that collar is knitted on as you go, and it's a 2x2 ribbing with like faux cable twists on every other knit 2x2. And it's really cool. I really like it. And I'm really excited to be knitting something that's like almost black, because my wardrobe is always in need of more black. It's the color that I wear the most. If I could wear all black all the time, I would. And I don't ever knit black things. I knit like really colorful things. So I'm really happy to be finally knitting something that's black, because I'm definitely missing a black hand knit cardigan in my wardrobe. I'm very excited about it. I am absolutely 100% copying Kristen of Voolenvine. She knit a black one of this same pattern, and it was beautiful and I loved it. I think she used Brooklyn Tweed, and yeah, I'm using this yarn. So the pattern calls for worsted. I'm using DK. I mostly got gauge. Pretty much got gauge. And I've got my little Pen Dulce Progress Keeper on here from La Serena Tejera, and I love it. Yeah, I'm knitting it on a size US 7, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know, I have knit with black yarn before. I've never knit a sweater with black yarn before, I don't think, and it's fine. I'm not like disliking it or anything because it's hard to see. It's totally fine. And I'm not actually doing cables, I'm just doing little twists. So I love working on this right now. It's definitely my favorite thing that I'm working on right now. Okay. That is what I've been working on. Those are all my projects. I haven't done any sewing. I'm still obsessively trying to find my next crochet sweater pattern I want to make. And you guys have actually given me a lot of suggestions about crochet sweater patterns, and they are all amazing, and I just can't pick one. I just can't pick one. Anyway, tangent. Okay, I'm going to move on. I have a couple more eensy-weensy things to talk about yarn. I did a shop update for Moonstone Dyeworks, which again is my yarn company that I hand dye yarn for. I did a shop update last weekend, so thank you so much to everybody who showed up and checked things out. There is still some yarn in the shop, so I'm just going to really quickly show you in case you missed it on Instagram, because that's where I put most of my shop stuff. I'm just going to show you quickly what is still in the shop as of Wednesday. I created a new colorway that I really, really like, and it is called Pumpkin Pumpkin. And I named this after a song by a band that I like called The Regrets. They're amazing. They're amazing. So there's a song called Pumpkin, and that's what I named this colorway. So it's like a kind of coppery, orangey brown. Yeah, I like it. I don't know. If you do, go check it out. I also have some of this colorway, which is called Sweet, which is a newer colorway. And then I also have Magical Creatures, which is an older colorway. The next few colorways are older ones that I have dyed more of. This is Crescent Moon. And there's some Stardust. So that's all up. If you're interested, check it out. Thank you if you do. I appreciate it. And then I did do a little yarn shopping myself. So my good friend Jillian, who is Good Witch Knits, who lives in Sacramento, which she is my fellow Californian, she opened up, not too recently, but a little while ago, her own hand-dyed yarn business, and her stuff is really cool because she naturally dyes her yarn with like self-gathered plants. Like, I don't think she uses extracts. I think she actually gathers plants herself and like keeps them in her freezer and then like naturally dyes her yarn. It's really, really cool, and her yarn is really beautiful. So I think it was her second update. I was able to get some, and this is what I got. So Good Witch Knits, that is her label, and this is the colorway Blood Moon. I don't know what it was dyed using. I think it said on the listing, but I forgot, and it doesn't say on the tag, so I don't know. I'm gonna guess madder. Is it madder? I don't know. It's pink. It's like pink and then like a stone gray kind of taupey. Oh, it's so pretty, and I love it. I love it very much, and I love that it's called Blood Moon. It's perfect. So I will link to her shop in the show notes below too. I definitely think you should check her out because I think natural dyers are kind of a rarity in the whole hand-dyed yarn business realm, and I think when you find one, you should definitely, like, you know, watch them. So check that out if you're interested too. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna leave you there. I hope you are having a really nice day. There have been people checking in with me. Thank you very much to those of you who have checked in with me, following me on Instagram and stuff. There have been a lot of fires in California right now, like all over the state, and they're really, really bad. And I am fine. The area that I live in is totally fine. It's been smoky and very weird here some days, but I mean, that is nothing compared to what other people are going. So there are a lot of fires in the state right now. If you know, live close to any of those fires or are being affected by them at all, my thoughts go out to you. It's been a rough fire season here in California. But thank you for those of you who have reached out to me, just checking in. I am fine. I know for a while I went a little silent on social media and the YouTube channel, but that's just due to social media lag, which I think happens to us sometimes. You know, you get kind of, I just kind of forget about it periodically, and you know, stuff. So am I just going to sit here and at you until I think of something else to say, or am I just going to say goodbye? I have an alternate, I guess I'm just going to at you until I figure out something else to say. I've been kind of alternately putting out videos about, like, my regular Squirrel Pie Productions knitting podcast videos, and then also roller skating vlogs. So hopefully that isn't annoying to the people who are not interested in roller skating. But like I said before, I am becoming very, very interested in it. And I really like watching other people's roller skating vlogs, so I've put out some of my own, and starting a separate channel isn't something I'm too interested in, so hopefully it's not bothering anybody who subscribes. And if it is, I'm sorry. But they're pretty infrequent. I've been doing like one a month, and they'll probably slow down too, especially when winter comes and I start probably putting out knitting podcasts more often. Ooh, okay. Now I will definitely leave you there. I hope you're having a really, really great time. I hope you are safe. I hope you are well. Have fun and stay awesome.